Good morning, my Teaser King family. How's everybody today? Hope you're well. Another Tuesday, another Wednesday, another Friday. It just keeps moving along. Well, the free pick wins again, Philadelphia. I'm red hot on the free picks. I did well on my picks. I did 3-2 with a push in the Seattle game and 3 units because I had the lock was Milwaukee, which somehow I won. In the 7th inning, they were down 4 runs, and I said, well, I guess I'll lose that one. And I wake up, and they won 10 innings. Felt pretty happy there. Gold and silver, the 10 o'clock draw. What the fuck? So it's sitting there 43-40, and then 10 o'clock hits, and it even goes up before. Just before 10, it goes to 43-38. I'm going, okay, maybe we can get to 45. And then it tanks, and it, at 10 o'clock, for no reason, it's just, as I showed you, it's just where they think they want to put it or whatever, and it goes down to 42.82, and now back to 42.94. Totally a rigged system, silver 66. What can you say? It's bullshit. This is why we talk physical. This is the paper price. This is not the physical price. But Howard, there is no physical price. At this point, no, but there will be. And that's what China and Russia are doing with BRICS, gold-backed currency, and getting a real price on it. So again, it could be margin calls. It could just be people selling their gold and silver because they need it. But this 10 o'clock fix, this is just a total insanity, because that's not even margin calls. That's just ETFs and other things pricing it low because they want to buy it. So keep that in mind. This is not a physical price. This is a paper price. All right, Howard, when do we get a physical price? Good question. We're waiting on it. They're doing it. China, Russia, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Dubai, Saudi Arabia, they're all getting it, but the dollar's collapsing, the US dollar. And when that collapses, then they'll be free to do it. But China's thoughts is, we'll let the US collapse, and then that way we won't get blamed for it. Do not sell an ounce of gold or silver. I got to sell 1 ounce, but I only because I need the money in cash for bills and trips and stuff like that. I want to go back to the lake. So that's all. That's all I need it for. But again, you're going to do that in anything. Once you retire, you're going to have, if you have stocks, what are you going to do? You're going to sell 50 shares of IBM because you need money. Because we eventually need this to pay the bills, go to the grocery store. If we use our debit or credit card, we still need this. And so anything you have, a Mantle card, a Rolex, you can't just use that. You have to turn it into this to then use this. So as long as we're using this, we still need to get out of it. But that doesn't mean anything. We bought gold at 1,700. It's almost 4,300. Okay, what does it mean? Nothing. So we made money on it. I'm not doing it to profit take. I'm not doing it to make money because I know gold is not at its high point. It's nowhere near its high point. So that's what we're looking at. And again, this is paper. These are option prices, not physical. So it's like oil. Oil, you see at $80. It's a perfect analysis. It's at $85, $90 a barrel, but it's selling for 200 a barrel. In the physical world, it's 200. In the paper world, it's 90. And that's the same thing that's happening with gold. In the physical world, it's much higher, but in the paper world, they cut it down. I don't get the whole paper game, the option game, the derivative game. It's all a Ponzi scheme. It's nothing you should do. So you must differentiate that we're in the physical world and that's what we're doing. Once you understand that, you don't worry about these numbers. You know it's going higher. And, yeah, sometimes you need to sell because you need money, right? Which is fine. But the majority you're not selling because this physical gold will keep going up in value. And there'll be a disconnection. And eventually this paper game gets blown up because the only reason people are doing this because they want to buy gold at $4,300 that is probably $7,000 or $8,000. So this is the problem, this whole COMEX paper game. It's a Madoff game. Jamie Dimon is Madoff. He was with Madoff and his Ponzi scheme. Do you think Jamie Dimon didn't understand Madoff was doing a Ponzi scheme when he'd have $2 billion in his bank? And he just let it go? Like, yeah, sure. Like Jamie Dimon didn't see it. That's like the Detroit Tiger manager when he was at Houston, didn't know they were stealing pitches. You're running the team. What do you mean you didn't know? That's what I love about the Tigers. They hire a cheat. And then to tap it off, he's a liar because he's saying, "Oh, I didn't do that. I didn't know." All right. So it's getting pretty frustrating and tiring to keep seeing gold go 4,500, 4,400, 4,300, 4,290, because we know this isn't a real price. And we keep waiting for the real price to come out. And that's all we can do. We know it's much higher. We don't want to panic. We don't want to sell our gold and silver out of, well, hell, it keeps going down. I might as well dump it and get into something else, right? Let's get into, hey, we'll get into NVIDIA or Microsoft or Amazon. Hey, let's go into those. Those are making money. Because as soon as you do that, you're dead, because then, they're going to collapse. So what's happening is they're manipulating the markets where the stock market looks appetizing and gold's going down. Bitcoin went all the way down to 59,000. So what's really going on? And that's where we look at it and go, no, this is the twilight zone going on now. Gold going down doesn't make any sense. You have wars, but again, this is in paper, so it really makes no sense. Why is because see, people need to differentiate paper versus physical, and so you're looking at it going, well, wait, this is paper going down, not physical going up, or not physical going down. Nobody's selling their gold. As I explained at the grocery store, well, Coca-Cola at $3 a 2-liter, nobody wants it, so they lower the price. That's how you lower the price. But in gold, everybody wants it. Everybody needs it. All the dollars are collapsing. So why is the price going down? It's not because of no demand. Now it's paper manipulation. God knows how many tons they're faking on paper. You got 200,000 tons. How do you have 4.3 in paper when you only have 200,000 in physical? What is going on here? So Eventually, this has to blow up. We're just waiting. The U.S. is broke. So, really, if anything, the U.S., if they had any gold at all, would want the price to go up. They got to pay for these wars. So, I'm really not understanding. If the wars are very expensive and you have to pay for the war, then what are you doing? Why is gold going down? Because gold would be one of the things you pay for the war with. All right. Anyway, enough of gold. It's frustrating watching it at 4,300 when we know it's much higher. I keep waiting for the boom up to 4,700 so I can sell the ounce. I don't want to sell it at 43. I know it's worth much more, but it's a timing issue that I need to get some cash, and this is the way to get it. Football will come soon, and that'll be helpful. But right now, that's what we're looking at. Silver at 66. It was 88 like 2 weeks ago, going up to 100, and now it's 66. I don't get how that correlates, because I can see you selling gold for oil, but you're selling silver contracts for oil too. God knows there's 76 million tons of silver out there, and there's only 1 million tons of actual. How is that? What's going on there? All right. So let's take a look at our baseball. So yesterday, Seattle 6, Baltimore 3. We have Seattle over 9, 2 weak pitchers, and it ends in 9. That's a push. The Yankees win 7-5 against Cleveland. I would not have expected a high-scoring game, but I stayed away. Tampa Bay 3, Boston 1. I normally like playing Tampa because they win well. They have good bullpen, but when they do these bullpen days, it's very difficult. Again, I didn't bet that. Our free pick, Philadelphia, 2 units. Philly wins 5-2 with their ace pitcher on the mound. So he wins. We've got Houston, which I thought was losing. It was like the bottom of the 9th, and they were down 4-3. And I wake up and they won 5-4. And I go, great. So we win Houston. Cincinnati, I got over 7.5. Oh, it's a winner. Wait a minute. I fucked up. It must have been a low scoring game, but Cincinnati, they win. It's a 6-2. They lose 6-2 is 8. I went over. Another W. All right. Washington against the 49ers, 4-3. Surprising, just no hitting. And I have Frisco over 8, and they play a 7. And then the crazy game, Milwaukee 15-14. And I got Milwaukee as my lock 4 unit, and that win. So I got to redo this. I got 1, 2, 3. I went 4-1. And I made 2, 4, 7, 11. I made 9 units because that was a 3-unit play, Cincinnati, that I thought I lost. Wow. So I got to be careful when I'm looking at the game in the 7th inning going, oh, this is never going to go to 8. Let's check this out. How did I win this game? Oh, I feel much better. 4-1. So let's see. Padres rally for 6-2. Oh, okay. Here we go. I got 5 runs in the 2 runs in the 7th and 3 in the 8th. So it's a 2-1 game, Cincinnati. And I go, well, we're not going to get 7.5. And then San Diego gets 2 runs in the 7th and 3 in the 8th, and it's 6-2. So I win it late because that's the minor league bullpen. Let's see. So Abbott with his 4 ERA. This is the strategy of picking the over. 6 innings, 4.10. And Antone, the relievers came in. And the last reliever, okay, so this is Cincinnati. The starter 4 ERA, 6 innings, four hits, 3 runs. And they go to this Antone with a 3.46 ERA in the 7th inning. He gives up 2 hits but no runs. And then the 8th inning, McCrambly, sounds like one of those McCrumblies on Key and Peele. 1 inning, gives up 4 hits and 3 runs. Way to go, fella. It wasn't a home run. 6.75 ERA. That's how you get the over, because these teams don't have ERA. Cincinnati's normally a high-scoring team. Let's take a look at their hitters. 1, 2, 3, 4. They got 4 hitters. I always love this. So you got 295, 273, 254, and 252 are your first 4 hitters. You got a pinch hitter, Steer, who hits 265. And then you got 203, 175, 212, 205, 235. So this is the problem with Cincinnati. The last 5 hitters suck. So if they don't score in the beginning, okay, so they're really not necessarily, they're not a good team. And then we go with San Diego, who, okay, this is why I bet it over. Ferris Bueller, 4.33 ERA, gives up 8 hits and 1 run. Then Rodriguez with a 2 ERA gives up 1 run. Then the 4 ERA pitcher gives up nothing, and nothing. Okay. So Ferris Bueller only gave up 1 run in 4 innings. So that's why we went over, because it was Ferris Bueller, who stinks. But he doesn't get the win. Excuse me. He doesn't get the win, but he pitched good. San Diego batting 269, 268, and 375. They got 3 hitters on the team. I got lucky to get the over. If you have good pitchers, these 2 teams are good under teams. So you start with a 269 hitter, then you got a 198 hitter hitting second. What is that? Then 268, then 166. Who's making this lineup? Then 231, 230, 200. Your 375 hitter is hitting 8th, your left fielder. What is going on? So the 375 hitter should be batting 3rd. So I would have Tatis first, then France, my first baseman, hitting 268, batting 2nd. And then my 375 hitter is going to be batting 3, even though he's probably not batted. And then you're fucked. 166, 231, 230, 200, and 161. Why is 166 batting 4th? It's because it's Manny Machado. The fuck, he's hitting 166. Then you got Xavier Bogaerts hitting 231, so you kind of understand that. But then, what the fuck? How is Manny Machado hitting 160? Holy Christ. Your DH Sheets hitting 230, 200. Yeah, okay. So I can see Manny Machado hitting 4th, but yeah, he's got problems. He's hitting 166. He went 0 for 4 yesterday. All right. So San Diego's got a little bit more talent with Machado and Bogaerts and Tatis, except for they're not hitting. Now, here's the other thing. These starting pitchers go 4 innings, 5 innings, and they pitch. Here's where the pitch count is a joke. He pitches 86 pitches. So what? Why would I pull him after 4 2/3 innings? Granted, he's got a 4.33 ERA, but that's what you. And then it's really as it gets later in the game, you've got. You're worried about pitch count, but you shouldn't be worried about that. He's not going to pitch for 5 days. He won 86 pitches. I'm sure he's fine. He's a major league professional pitcher. So what are you doing? This is the problem with baseball. Anyway, Somehow we got that win. I don't know how, but anyway, so we go 4-1, which makes me feel a whole lot better. And we go plus 9 units instead of plus 3 units. So there we go. I thought I had lost the Houston game. I thought I lost Cincinnati, and Milwaukee was down 4 runs, but game ain't over till the game's over. All right, we'll look at today's in a minute. Let's look at the NBA. So, of course, every game's low scoring, but of course, this one goes over. 115, 111. It's 226. Of course, the other games were 200. Of course, I go over. 115, 111. Wednesday's game, New York again minus 2.5, 216. San Antonio must win the game. They did figure out a way to win. Again, I don't know what to do there. San Antonio came out, took the lead, and that was it. Now, watching Winnebago. This guy is so stupid. He doesn't know what he's doing. If you just watch him, he's running all over the court. On defense, he doesn't just stay by the basket. He runs out to the 3-point line. He runs out. He's past the foul line. No. You stay in the paint or right next to it if there's the 3-second violations. I don't know you got 8 seconds to get it over the half court line instead of 10. I don't know what they're doing. They wonder why nobody watches basketball. Now, the thing I noticed about the Knicks is they don't just stand there spacing the court to take 3-point shots. That's why they're winning. Their guard, whatchamacallit, he drives the paint a lot. They get a lot of close shots. They don't just sit there trying to shoot 3-point shots. That's why the Knicks are winning. Because they're going back to 1980 basketball. We'll have our guy drive the hoop. Let's look at the scoring. Let's look at the box score yesterday. San Antonio, Winnebago gets 32 points. 2 of 4 from 3-point land. I wouldn't have them shoot any 3-point land. Champaign with 12, Vassal 11. Never heard of these guys. Castle 23, Fox 12. Average lineup. They didn't take a lot of 3-point shots. Champaign 3 of 7, Vassal 3 of 4, Fox 0 for 5. I'd tell Fox don't shoot. You can't. Harper gets 13 points. And Kobe Bryant, 3 points. All right. The Knicks. Okay, Jalen Brunson's who I'm thinking. So Brunson gets 32 points because he drives. Is Anunoby, who's a power forward, 28 points. Hart, never heard of, 16. Towns, he sucks, 11. And Bridges, 2. And then off the bench, Kelly Clarkson with 10 points. So it's mostly Brunson and this Anunoby and a little bit of Hart. Hart is a shooting. There's Brunson's the point guard, but that makes no sense. Brunson is the scoring guard. He gets 32 points. Your point guard gets a lot of assists. And if we look at assists, yeah, they don't have a point guard. Brunson's not. Brunson's a shooting guard. Hart's a shooting guard. Brunson might dribble a lot, but he's not a point guard. Towns is center and 8 rebounds. So that's it. And their bench, Kelly Clarkson's a shooting guard, 10 points. So it's really a two-man team, Brunson and Anobi, against Winnebago. So even at home, and I love the celebrities. The celebrities are a joke. Spike Lee, Stiller. I hate Stiller. I didn't really. There was no Jack Nicholson there. Who else was there? Just a bunch of nobodies. When you gotta sell Spike Lee as your celebrity, you're in pretty big trouble. The prices they charge. So I'm listening to my radio show until I had to turn it off. They're charging, X amount for the tickets. Well, people don't have to pay it. Again, in the market. I'm gonna sell the tickets for like the secondary market, not the first market. But in other words, they're a couple $100 to buy right from Madison Square Garden or whoever, the Knicks or whatever. But then the secondary market, you don't have to buy them. If people wouldn't spend $5,000 for them, they wouldn't. And then apparently near the start of the game, they were cheaper because people aren't paying $5,000. So they make a big deal. Like one guy pays $5,000 because he's some millionaire, and that's not every price. So it was like 4,600. But again, these are rich Wall Street guys buying these tickets. They have to go. I got to take my girlfriend. I got to take my son. But in the real world, it's not like the regular people couldn't go. But if you're going to have an auction and somebody's going to pay 5,000 for it and you can't afford it, that's the marketplace. It's not the Knicks. It's not the NBA. It's the secondary market. People could. You're in New York. You got Wall Street. Of course, people can pay more. And then they lost. So will they pay that again? Now, if they have, it's 22111, which is what I like. So what do we do with Game 4? I would say San Antonio probably will win it because they won it. They won yesterday. They'll probably win. They figured it out. They had an explosive first quarter and third quarter. The Knicks had a 40-point second quarter. They take Winnebago out too much. You've got to be smart taking him out because as soon as they take him out, the Knicks explode and put up 10, 20 points. He doesn't need that much rest. What you do is you take him out with like a minute left at the end of the first quarter, and then he gets that 5 minute between quarters. That's all he needs. And you do that maybe just before the half and just at the third quarter, at the end of the third quarter. Because the last 5 minutes of the game's all fouls, and he should be fine for that. They don't understand. I'd still fire the coach. He doesn't understand. Winnebago's got to be under the basket learning sky hooks. Okay, I saw him in the paint a little bit more yesterday. Keep in mind, it's very hard for me to watch this. It's so boring. But at least the Knicks and San Antonio aren't just standing at the 3-point circle. Here, give me the ball. I'm just going to shoot like Orlando does. I mean, and this will change basketball because if the Knicks win or San Antonio, they don't just stand there trying to get 3-point shots. They both work the ball into the paint and get good shots. So that's going to change basketball from just standing there for 3-point shots to, okay, let's go back to basketball, which will make it much better. It's much more interesting when they're driving. The refs are horrible. Winnebago take like 4 steps. They don't call traveling. These guys are getting hit all over the place. They're not calling fouls. Then they had all these replays, and the refs were wrong on every replay. And you're just wondering what the refs are doing out there. I really don't like, speaking of replays, this baseball replay of the pitch. Is it too high? Is it too low? Is it inside or outside? And then they go to this monitor, and this much of the ball is in, and they call it a strike. And you're like, no, it's not a strike. It should be the bulk of the ball. If the bulk of the ball is outside or too high, and just this little bit of the ball, that's a ball, because you're looking at it with your eyes, and you're looking at the ball, and this little bit catches the thing, and they call it a strike. Not only does it make the umpires look bad, it makes the integrity of the game look bad. They can't call strikes or balls. Oh, look, the ump is wrong. The ump's not wrong. The ump's got it perfectly. That's what they do. So I don't like it. I don't like the whole questioning. Well, no. It was a strike. So no, it's what the ump called it. If the ump called it a ball, it's a ball. If he calls it a strike, it's a strike. And you leave it at that. And same thing in basketball. If he says that it went off of this guy, even if it didn't, that's what the ref's purpose is. The refs need to call more fouls when the guy ends up on the floor and they don't call a foul. You're like, are you kidding me? He hit him with the body. That's a foul. I don't know the rules anymore because I haven't watched it much, but pretty much when you hit the guy, it's a foul. That hasn't changed. So I don't even know what I'm watching anymore. It's an 8-second clock to get over the half court. Well, 10-second. Well, why would you change that rule? I thought that was a stupid rule change, and just the whole thing. I don't know what walking is anymore. The guy Winnebago took a ball and took 3 steps and then dunked. So from half court, from the foul line, never dribbled the ball. And that was okay. No, you got to have rules that work. But anyway, watching Winnebago, he's clueless. He runs out of the paint. No. Your job is to guard the paint. You never leave 3 feet from the paint. Never. And you need to read the play. Where's the ball going? Oh, this guy's open. They're going to give him the ball over here. And this is the problem. That's what you're looking at. You're looking at Winnebago goes out to the perimeter for a 3-point shot, and you're leaving the basket unguarded. No. You're 7'4". You need to stay around the rim, especially on the defensive end. Now, on the offensive end, you should never be at a 3-point shot. You should always be around the paint, around the lane, and do your alley-oops, fine. But if you shoot a 3-point shot, you're sitting on the bench because you're too stupid to be playing. Because that's ridiculous, taking 3-point shots like that. No. Not what we want. So he doesn't get it. I'm not sure the coach understands basketball. I mean, he really doesn't get it. So Winnebago played much closer to the basket most of the game. That's why they won. Now, I don't understand why he doesn't do that every game. Again, at 7'4", nobody can guard him. This Towns thinks. I was at the gym talking, well, Towns is bigger than him. He can't post him up. I go, what are you talking about? Towns is nothing. He's 7'4". He's fine. Yeah, I didn't see where he couldn't get in and take a shot. That Towns was a big step. Towns is sitting out at the 3-point line. So if Towns is at the 3-point shot, I'm under the basket, either on offense or defense. Let Towns sit at the 3-point shot. But that's why the Knicks, this Brunson guy, gets open. Now, again, just do the Jordan rules and double team him and knock him on his ass. You won't see him do anything anymore. So it's this series is not as boring as most of them, like Orlando just shooting 3-point shots the whole game, or Boston sucks. I mean, they just shoot 3-point shots. So again, Winnebago has to get much in the paint, offense and defense. You put a leash on them, right? You get 3 feet outside the paint, offense and defense. Otherwise, like I see him running out, I'm like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be, you're 7'4". You can do things that the guys who are 6'5" can't do. You can block shots and rebound. They can't do that. I mean, they can get an off block, but basically you can defer the whole game. And that's why they won. They got the ball into him. They got a lot of layups. They got a lot of close shots. San Antonio won. Will we get that in game 4? Did Winnebago learn? I don't know. He's definitely the equalizer. If he plays like that, San Antonio will win. But does he know where was he in games 1 and 2? I guess in game 2, San Antonio had it won. So maybe we'll take them in game 4. Again, they can't go down 3-1. And I've seen it a lot of times in the NBA playoffs. The team loses the first 2 at home and then wins the next 2 on the road. It really doesn't matter. Some series, the road team wins every game. And I think that's what we have here. The Knicks did not look like the dominant team. So I don't know what we'll do. We'll try Golden State. We'll try San Antonio next game. Even though the Knicks are after a loss, San Antonio has to win or they're down 3-1. So we'll take San Antonio plus the 2.5 for just 2 units. Nothing big. Oh, now I'm all excited. I won my Cincinnati. I won my 4 unit and my 3 unit yesterday. So the free play yesterday was Philadelphia Phillies. Easy win. And then Milwaukee, which somehow the gods have saved us. And we got the win there. All right. So let's go to covers. There's no football news. I'm gonna get my Gray Sports Almanac, I think, soon. So here's my problem. A quick look at the weather. It's 78, but it feels like 83. So if I open my door wall, it's 83 in here, which is too high. So I put the air on like 77, 76, which is fine. Anyway, baseball. So we'll just go through the scores again. Seattle 6-3 over Baltimore. The Yankees 7-5 in 10 innings over Cleveland. Tampa 3-1 over Boston. Philly 5-2 over Toronto. Houston 5-4 over California in 10 innings. San Diego 6-2 over Cincinnati, which we discussed. The Redskins 4-3 over the 49ers. Again, that pass interference on Ronnie Lott. Milwaukee 15-14. Now, how do I read this game? So why did I go through the scores? Because I want to see if the team's hitting or not. If Oakland gets 14 runs on this pitcher, if we look at the box score, and here's the problem. So we bet this guy, Harrison. Harrison has a 2.72 ERA. And that's why it was the lock, because Harrison's going to go 7 innings and shut him out, and Milwaukee can hit. They got a lot of hitting. And we look at the box score, and we see Harrison pitched a whopping 2 innings, 2 1/3, 8 hits, 8 runs, 8 earned runs, 2 walks. Are you kidding me? In 2 innings against Oakland? But then we look at here, and he had 71 pitches. Well, he got pulled because he gave up 8 hits and 8 runs in 2 innings. All right, this is your stud. This guy, he's not as good as Mizorowski, but he was real. He was like 10, 11 games with a 2.72. It was probably a 2.5 ERA. This is the problem, and you're like scratching your head going, what the fuck's happening here? So that's really the case in point. Here you're betting a pitcher. Now you get a miracle and you win, but it's crazy that you're one of your strong pitchers gives up 8 hits and 8 runs in 2 innings. And then we looked at Oakland, and I mean, their guy gave up 5 runs and with the 4.68 ERA. I would have played the game over, except for I had the guy with the 2 ERA who's real from Milwaukee. So how can I play the game over? Now that's gonna skew our game today. If Oakland can hit that guy, they can hit anybody. So I'm either going to take Oakland or we're just going to take the over. And Milwaukee's got it. But this is what's happening more so maybe in other games with a pitcher. Let's look at Houston and California. We had Arrighetti going. That's why we took Houston. And so Arrighetti with his 2.21 ERA pitches 6 innings, 4 hits and 3 runs, and say, oh, not bad. And he had 95 pitches in 6 innings. That's okay. I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened where they were down. California's pitcher, Rodriguez, who I don't know, here's a guy with an 80 ERA, and he's shutting out Houston, and he went 92 pitches in 5 innings. So the problem with these pitch counts is the other team plays to the pitch count. Well, if we can just hit a bunch of foul balls, as the Tiger broadcaster says, oh, it was a good at bat. It was an 11 pitch at bat. He struck out. Yeah, but he got 11 pitches. We'll get rid of the guy. And this is the whole Moneyball bullshit, which never works. We'll get the guy to throw a lot because you're looking at 100 pitch count. Why are you looking at 100 pitch count? This I don't understand. But that's the problem, right? So you're looking at 100 pitches. And if we can just get some 10 pitch, 12 pitch at bats, we can get 8 of those, that's 100 pitches. So if we get 8 of those, we can get them out in the first inning. Even if we strike out, it doesn't, all we need is 8 guys to come up and do 10 pitch, 11 pitch at bats. And this is the problem. So that's really where baseball is becoming, and why it's, normally hard to pick, where people are not understanding. It's, you look at the starter and you go, oh, okay, well, I'm going to say, look at this guy. He's a 2 ERA, our Milwaukee friend with the 2.2 ERA, and they've won every game with him. And then here you go, and he only lasts 2 innings. Well, that was different. That he just got the shit beat out of him. But in other games, we've seen Scanes where he's 4.5 innings or 4 1/3 innings, and he's up to 90 pitches. and then they're pulling him because he's close to 100. Instead, he shouldn't be on a pitch count, right? If he's doing well, who cares how many pitches he's thrown? These are professional athletes. I'm sure he can pitch 150 pitches. Not a problem, because he doesn't go for 5 days. So you might as well, if he's if he's throwing his arm, today, then, and he ain't coming back for 5 days, he can go more. I want him. Oh, well, I might hurt him. Oh, bullshit. You're not hurting him. These guys are getting injured pitching 3 and 4 innings. They don't have to pitch. It's not 150 pitches hurts the pitcher. I'm not sure 5 days hurts the pitcher. Like if you pitch him every 4 days instead of 5, I'm not sure that hurts the pitcher. Didn't hurt Koufax and Gibson and all these guys in the 60s and 70s. Tom Seaver, Nolan Ryan pitched for 20 years. Jack Morris didn't seem to hurt them going on 3 days rest instead of 4 days rest. That's just bullshit. That's just analytics, which is just make up numbers. There was a story I wanted to tell you quickly on AI. So Pepsi's coming out with drivers that driverless trucks. So you see the big Pepsi truck. It's loaded with Pepsi. And they drive to a grocery store and they unload it, put it on the shelves, take whatever comes out, and then they go to the next grocery store. And I worked at a grocery store, Farmer Jack's, and I'd see this Coke guy and the 7-Up guy and the Pepsi guy, and they'd pull up and they'd drop their inventory off, 20 cases or whatever. Back then, I put it on the shelf. They didn't put it on the shelf. I cannot understand how it can be automated. I really can't. So, okay, how are you going to drive from the warehouse to the grocery store? How are you going to fill up for gas when you need it? What's that, magic? Harry Potter's going to wave his wand and the gas is going to fill into the car, into the truck? How is he going to unload the pop from there into the grocery store? Or are you going to have me unload your truck and put it in, which I'm not going to do because I don't work for Pepsi. I work for the grocery store. So I don't understand these questions. I don't understand the answers, because how is the truck going to get to the grocery store? How are they going to fill it with gas, and how are they going to unload it and then drive it back to the warehouse? I mean, this is insane. There's going to be, and then I was reading some of the comments. Well, this will be even easier to steal because there won't be anybody there to deter you. So people will be stealing these trucks and the Pepsi and everything else. It's a very bad idea. Well, we can lay off the truck drivers. Well, I think some of the guys in the unions called Mafia will probably not like that. How are you going to fill it with gas? How are you going to fill it with gas? That's my first one. Not only how are you going to start it and drive it, and what if there's an accident or the lane's closed? How are you going to get around? But then how do you unload the vehicle and then go fill it with gas? You need people to do that. This is insanity. This cannot work. And then, like it said, somebody can easily go in the truck and steal it. I love that one. Absolutely the dumbest idea. And for what? You think this will benefit you by not paying for a truck driver? So I don't have to pay Charlie. Now, maybe this works in rural, but I still don't get past, how do you load and unload the pop? Because you got to load the truck, right? And then you get to the grocery store and unload it. How you fill it with gas? How does Joe Blow? Is it like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Total Recall, or is it Johnny Cab? How did I get in here? The door opened and you walked in. I mean, that's about, and then Arnie, pulls it off and grabs the joystick by himself. How this is insane. What this is happening here. So I don't get this whole how you're going to automate driving. And again, how do you open the gas tank and put the gas in? Are these magic beans? I mean, like Vinny, are these Jack and the Beanstalk beans that your grits cook faster on the stove than anybody else? How are you putting gas in the car and there's nobody there? What are you just going to drive to the gas station and an elf's going to appear and put the gas into the gas tank? Or we won't run out of gas because it'll be magic beans and we'll never run out of gas. The whole thing is asinine. So what? You can lay off some drivers and that'll solve your problem. No, your cost is you're selling them at $3 a bottle. That's your problem. All right. Let's take a look. Seattle at Baltimore. Oh, Gilbert against Rogers. Rogers is one of our guys on a 7-game losing streak. Seattle, Uncle Gilbert. I don't think he has it. I don't see a Seattle pitcher on here. So Seattle's minus 116, 8.5. Logan Gilbert. He's won his last 3. Had one bad outing where he gave up 7 runs to San Diego of all teams, and then 2 shutouts and a 3 shutouts in his last 5. Then he gave up 3 runs to the JETSs and then 7 runs to San Diego somehow. Pitches in about 95 to 100 pitches. Again, the magic number. So not bad. Baltimore, Trevor Rogers, and he's lost. Oh, he got a win. Okay, this is where I got fucked. Is all these streaks broke, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then he finally won. So he's lost 7 and 1. So he broke the streak, but he's still 7 and 1. He beat Boston 8-2. I remember that. So I took Boston, and then I wondered why did I take Boston, and then I was because this Rogers guy stinks. So what do you do with him? 6.33 ERA. So let's play it as we would, as if he wasn't on a bad streak. Seattle minus 116. 8.5. Gilbert 3.82, pretty good. It was 6-3 yesterday. Seattle won. They can hit, and I don't care. Rogers is not that good of a pitcher. Even he's got a 6.33 ERA, and we like the fact Seattle won yesterday because they had to fly into the East Coast. The Yanks in Cleveland, Gary Cole, 2 ERA against the Sony, 5 ERA. The Yankees are 112, 8.5. Gary Cole struggled a little bit because remember he had shut out the first 2 teams, and then gives up 6 hits and 4 runs. So he goes 6 innings shutout, 6 2/3 shutout, 5 innings, gives up 4 runs. And he pitched 83, so he's pretty good. He's normally about a 3 ERA pitcher. Against the Sony with the 5 ERA. Slade. Who names their kid Slade? What should we call our kid? Steve, Sammy, Slade. Let's go with Slade. Oh my God. All right. His last 5. Shutout 2 runs, 3 runs, 3 runs, 1 run. So he gave up 1 run to the Yankees. In Boston and Philly, he gave up 3 runs. And here, so he lost 2-1 to the Yankees June 4th, and here we are, and he's got the Yankees again. So what do we think here? Will this be a low-scoring game? Because Cole had a bad outing. Sassoni's been pitching pretty well lately. They played a 2-1 game in New York. Judge is out. Total. So the Yankees are favored 112 and 8.5. You lean towards the Yankees with Cole. He's been pitching 7 innings because he just came back, but he's pitched 3 games now. Cleveland, good bullpen. Sassoni with the 4.97, he's a right-hander. The Yankees seem to have some lefties. The Yankees seem to have bats. I thought, well, with Judge, they're not going to hit. And I looked at their box score the other day, and they had 5 or 6 good hitters. Sometimes when a player like Judge gets hurt, everybody picks it up. Goldsmith and Chisholm and those guys. So we will see. But superficially, I would take the Yankees because Saccone has a 4.97. But when I looked at his last 5, he's not giving up. Let's see. Maybe there was a bad game way back. Yeah, okay. So early on in April, he gave up 1 run. Then he goes 5 innings, gave up 7 runs. 5 innings, gave up 4 runs. 5 innings, gave up 5 runs. So that's where his ERA is. But when you go inside the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's 2.02, 3.31. So he's not really. The ERA is deceiving, which is why we like to go into the last 5 or last 6 games. God, I'm so happy I won. I plus 9 units yesterday. See, this is why I throw out the old sheet. It wasn't lucky, and now we're back. 4-1 for 9 innings. For 9, we won 3 on 6-7. So there we go. Much better. What do I do here? I have made my decision, and this is not going to be your free play, so there you go. I think that's a good one. Cole should pitch well. All right. LA goes to Pittsburgh. Very good. The Rams against the Steelers. Super Bowl, whatever the fuck it was, 1980. It gets even better. Look who's favored. Pittsburgh, minus 109 and 7. Lauer with the 5.11 ERA goes against Paul Scanes. Hey, Mr. Scanes, you're killing us. Mr. Scanes has lost 4 in a row. Hard to believe that is possible. They lost 6-0 to Philly, 5-2 to Toronto, 7-2 to the Cubs, and 11-9 for Houston. So he's lost 4 in a row. You must respect the streaks. So in his last 5 games, he had a shutout, an 8-inning shutout. Then he goes 5 innings, gives up 5 runs and 90 pitches. Then he goes 5 innings, gives up 4 runs, 98 pitches. Then he goes 5 innings, gives up 3 runs, 103 pitches. Then he goes 4 2/3, gives up 3 runs and 109 pitches. So what do we do with Paul Scanes here? We know he's an ace. We know he's the champ. But if we look at his last 5 games, well, we got to look at his last 4. He gave up 5-4, 3-3. So for some reason, and he's only pitching 5-5-5 and 4 2/3, and yet he's pitching 100 pitches. So they're fucking with him. They're just doing it, and this manager's so stupid. He's actually pulling him when he shouldn't be. I mean, before that, he had 2 8-inning games where 2 hit shutouts. He had a 7-inning game, which was a 1-hit shutout. He had a 4-inning game, which was a 3-hit shutout, and a 6-inning game, which was one hitter where he gave up 1 run. What do we do? Wow. Don't know. He's, so in total it's a 309, but the last 4 he's higher than a 309 because he's doing it in only 5 innings. So you got to double it, basically 4.5 innings. You double because its ERAs are based on 9 innings. So he's 309, but probably like almost 4 in those games against Lauer with the 5.11 ERA. Let's take a look at that. I can't believe Skeens has lost 4 in a row. It's madness. Lauer. His last 5, 4 innings, 1 run, 4 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 6 runs, 6 innings, 1 run, and 4 2/3, 2 runs. So you see 1 run, but you go, it's 4 innings. Big deal. 6 innings, a 4-hit one he did against Colorado. Otherwise, 5 innings, he gave up 6 runs, 4 innings, 3 runs, 4 2/3, 2 runs, and he pitches 80, 96, 70. He's all over the place. So Lauer, we know Pittsburgh can hit. Do we think the Dodgers are going to score on Skeens because he is not shutting you out? He's only going 5 innings because of pitch count. He's throwing 109 pitches and he can't get out of the 5th inning. Are the Dodgers going to do that to him? I don't know. Lauer, basically, Pittsburgh should hit Lauer. This almost smells like an over game because you can't just take Skeens at, he's got a 3.09 ERA. Yeah, but the last 4 games, he's not good. I don't know if he's walking. He's just, they're hitting 11 pitch at bats against him. We know he's the best pitcher, him and the Milwaukee guy. And he can shut you out anytime. This is really 3rd dimensional here. Actually, we'll go 5th dimensional here. Pitch should hit Lauer, 5.11 ERA. But his last 5 games, but he only pitches 4 innings. So now we get into the bullpen. I don't think the Dodgers have a good bullpen. So the 109, okay, they'll hit Lauer. The total of 7. Smells like an over. And who do we have here? A Kai Taken. Okay. Shohei Ohtani joined the ranks of Tom Brady, Michael Jordan, and Lionel Messi. I think he's a very popular guy, but I don't think playing wise he's not a Tom Brady or a Jordan. Brady would just dominate, and so would Jordan. I don't think that Shohei does that. He's unique in that you either are a pitcher or a hitter or a fielder, and they kind of make them both. I personally, I don't buy. Skeens is a better pitcher than Shohei. The guy in Milwaukee's a better pitcher. You're missing Larry Bird and Joe Montana on that list, and Wilt. So I don't think he's, in my opinion, no. But again, I'm not a big Shohei fan. If he was at California instead of the Dodgers, would you think the same? He didn't do a lot at California. And it's a pretty loaded lineup. In my mind, no. But that's my opinion. All right. So what do we do with the Dodger pick? Skeens. I have a feeling this is going to go over, but Pitt, because it's a 7, but just as easily Skeens could shut him out. Now, is he going to shut out the Dodgers? So this will answer your question, Taken. Let's see what Shotani does against Gaines. Now, if he hits 2 home runs today, fine. If he strikes out 3 times, you'll have your answer. So this will be good. I don't think he'll hit Gaines. So I don't think he's all that. But I take Gaines as a better pitcher. He's struggling with these long pitch count, 90 pitches, and he's in the 4th inning. They're just foul balling him to death. So it's difficult because you can't really bet over with Gaines because he could easily shut out the Dodgers. They do have good hitting, but the Dodgers I've seen in the last month where they'll lose 3-0, 4-0, not a problem. I think Gaines gets up for this game because it is the Dodgers, and I think he wants to show. I think he'll shut them out. And Pitt can hit. All right. I know what I'm doing, but it's not going to be the free play. All right. Boston and Tampa. Boston's a 105 favorite, a 6 total with Tolle against Martinez. I thought Tolle was the bad pitcher, but it might be somebody else. Peyton Tolle from Oklahoma. He's a Sooner Boomer. And let's see. Game logs. No streak. Tolle hasn't given up more than 3 runs in any of his appearances. His last 5, he gave up 5 innings, 3 runs, 8 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 3 runs, 4 innings, 2, and 6 innings, a shutout. He goes 90, 85, 90 pitches. He's gone 8 innings. Oh, my God, somebody that pitched 8 innings. So, again, even we go back to last 6, it's 2-3-2, 3-2-0. Doesn't give up a lot of runs, and he can go 6 or 7 innings. They beat Baltimore 8-1. He lost to Oakland 10-2. He lost, so he's all over the place, but he is legit. He's not the guy I was thinking of. With the 2-3, we got Nick Martinez, who's very good for Tampa. Nick. So this is very unusual. This is why I'm losing my mind picking these games. Here's Nick Martinez from the start. 5 innings, 2 runs, 8 innings, 1 run, 7 innings, 0 shutout, 5 innings, 1 run, 5 and 2/3, 1 run, 6 innings shutout, 6 innings, 1 run, 7 innings, 2. We bet him big. He goes 4 innings, gives up 6 runs. I mean, so 2, 4, in 8 games, he doesn't. The most he gives up is 2, and then he gives up to the Tigers of all teams. He gives up 6 runs, and he only pitched 58 pitches because he's given up all these runs. I suspect he comes on strong here. The most he's done 94 pitches. He'll go 6, 7 innings. But this is a tough one. Toll is pretty good, but the total on the game's 6, which is freaking ridiculous. I cannot go under 6. So I got these 2 pitchers. So Martinez sucked last time, but Toll is pretty good. So I can't really go. Martinez is the better pitcher. Take him. And I can't really go under because it's 6. If this should be 7.5, 8, I would take it. I suspect it's because neither team has a good offense. So that's why this is low. So I got to pass on this. This should be an under, but it should be 7.5. This will probably be a 2-1 game. Minnesota goes to Detroit, and Detroit's 124, 9.5. Bradley, 360 for Minnesota against Melton, 180 for Detroit, who I've never heard of. Ty Bradley, no streak. his last five. 7 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 1 run, 4 innings, 4 runs, 4 innings, 4 runs. His last two were against Pitt and the White Sox. So Pitt can hit, and the White Sox. So I just changed my settings. I know what I did, but I don't know how to get back to it. Oh, this sucks. Hopefully it's just this page. Okay. I hit a setting. I hate when you do that and you don't know, but you don't know how to get to the setting. All right, where are we? All right, Minnesota, Detroit. So Bradley. So as I said, his last five was 2-2-1-4-4. He went 114 pitches against Seattle. They need to go 135, 150 pitches this whole, because go ahead and hit 15 foul balls. I'm still going to strike you out, and I'm still going to pitch 7, 8 innings. So this little, let's hit foul balls and get them out of the game won't work. The pitchers are fully capable of going at least 150 pitches. So this guy's a little inconsistent. Melton for Detroit, 1.80 ERA, but I think he's pitched one game. Troy Melton's he's pitched in 3 games. Started May 24th. 5 innings, 1 run. 7 innings, 1 run. 8 innings, 2 runs. So he looks pretty good. At Baltimore, they won 4-1. Against the White Sox, they lost 4-3 and 10. And at Tampa, they won 7-2. So he seems like a pretty good pitcher. Let's dig deeper. In 2025, he started 4 games for Detroit, otherwise out of the bullpen, 2.76 ERA, and this time he's a starter with a 1.74. Seems pretty good. I know Detroit always does the opposite of what you think. Total of 8. Minnesota, fairly good hitting team. Detroit's been hitting, although they've been weird. Against Seattle, they lose. We bet the over, they win. Then we bet Detroit and they lose 4-0, and then we bet the total, and I think we win the total. No, we didn't even bet it 6-7. Oh no, we had Seattle over 8.5 on the 7th, and we won. They got 9. and then 6-8 was yesterday. So very, very tricky Detroit. Their offense, this guy's a righty, so they should have a better lineup out there with Melton. I don't know. I'm not going to bet it. I will put Detroit down, but no bet. Well, because they'll hit and then they'll get shut out. I mean, this is the problem with minor leaguers. Detroit's a minor league team, so you just got to be careful. Arizona, Miami. Miami minus 143, 11.5. What the fuck? Miami can't hit. We got Zach Gallen with the 5.34 against Mike Myers with the 2.84. I get confused. There's a good Zach and a bad Zach. Zach Gallen's not good. The Zach on Philadelphia, I think, is good. Zach, give me a break. All right, his last 5 games. 4 innings, 7 runs, 6 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 5 runs, 5 innings, 5 runs. So this guy is crap. Mike Myers, Max Myers. I'm calling him Mike Myers. Wow, he had 1, 2, 4, 5. He's 6-1. 5 innings, 2 runs, 5 innings, 4 runs, 6 innings, 0, 7 innings, 0, 6 innings, 6, and then 7 innings, 1. You always get that one game, he played the Mets of all teams and gives up in 6 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs, 106 pitches. And then you go and play Washington. And the ironic part is the week before he played the Mets and they won 4-1. So he throws a 7-inning, 1-hit shutout against the Mets, and then the next week faces at the Mets, gives up in 6 innings, 6 hits, and 6 runs. How the hell do you go from 7 innings, a one-hitter, to 6 innings, and you give up 6 runs for the same team? So it's not like, well, let's look at the team. He beats Oakland, but he loses to Kansas City. You can't even go there. This is the Mets and the Mets, or maybe because it was at home. So he's either very good, shutout 1, or very bad, 4 runs, 6 runs. How does Arizona hit? Not very good. The Zach Gallen sucks. I am not touching, 11.5. If you get the good Mike Myers, you're not going to get there. Zach Gallen gives up a lot. I don't know what to do. Nothing good. It's okay. Philadelphia. Here we go. The good Zach Wheeler goes against Dylan Cease. Ooh, good game. Toronto 108. They're favored and a total of 6.5. So Philadelphia's at Toronto. Game of the day. Zach Wheeler 2, 3, 4. And wow, he's won 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1. He had a winning streak. He lost to the Dodgers. So I like putting him on the list. So 7-1. And this guy's lethal. 1-0-0-4 to the Dodgers, and then 2. And even that was an under. It was 4-2. So this guy's for real. Toronto, Dylan Cease. I know Dylan Cease is an excellent pitcher. Also, he lost to Pitt 4-1. The Yankees 5-4 the last 2. His last 5, 7 innings, 4 runs, 7 innings shutout, 7 innings, 1 run, 5 innings, 5, and 4 2/3, 2. 100 against the Yankees. He goes 5 innings and throws 100 pitches. Well, what is that? Here he pitched 7 innings for 99 pitches, but then he was 4 2/3 his last game against Pitt and gave up had 76 pitches, gave up 2 runs in 4 innings. So both these guys can be very good. Zach Wheeler does not lose often. You're not going to get Philly as a dog very often, although they're really – Toronto's 108, Philly's even, but you're not going to get Philly even very often. What do? We like the under, but it's 6.5. We can't play the under. I don't want to go against Dylan Cease, and I don't want to go against Zach Wheeler. This is an under play, but how do you do 6.5? There won't be scoring in this game. All right. I'll think about it. I'm not going to – there's another one I'm just going to write down. But I'm not betting, at least not yet. I do notice these numbers change a lot. The Cardinals at the Mets. We got the Mets minus 121.9. We got May 4.64 for St. Louis, and Peralta 3.62 for the Jets. I don't think Namath is playing today, unfortunately. And is this guy a bullpen guy? No, this guy's an actual pitcher. May has lost 5 of his last 6. Well, the team lost 5 of his last 6. So his last 5, 6 innings, 3 runs, 6 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 4 runs, 7 innings, 2, 5 innings, 3. So this guy, May, lets up a lot of runs. He's got a 4.64 ERA. Let's look at it. So this is why the over's 9. Freddie Peralta. Let's see what he's up to. He's up to no good, I'm sure. 5, 6 innings, 2, 5 innings, 3, 7 innings, 4, 4 innings, 4, and then 6 innings, 1. Gave up 4 both times to Miami. Gave up 3 to the Yankees, and then beat Seattle 7-1 his last time out. So what we going to do, Hulksters? I'm eating my vitamins. Mets 121.9. Are these teams hitting? We'll have to go back to Sunday. I think the Mets beat San Diego. Let's go to Sunday. And the point is, how are they hitting? So we got St. Louis and the Mets. St. Louis has not been hitting. St. Louis beat Cincinnati 5-3. We were under 9. We were over 9. We didn't get there. And the Jets's they won 7-3 over San Diego. So they hit pretty good. All right. So what do we do? What do we do? May is a pig, 4.64. Peralta, 3.62. And the total is 7.5. Okay. So I know what I'm doing. So we're getting games, as I explain it, when we do football, certain weeks we get pocket aces. We get a lot of games that are easy picks, right? We clean up. And then you get weeks where the matchups aren't very good. An over is playing an under. Kansas City is a 10-point favorite. You can't really bet on. And that's what happened last week. We kind of had a lot of decent matchups, but the games did not turn out. Skanes lost, and Chris Sale lost, and fortunately we won with our Milwaukee guy. But that's what happens a lot when you get these bad. Sometimes they're just bad matchups. The bad teams are playing each other. So what do we do? St. Louis and the Mets. So I think we did that. Okay. Our first game today is at 8:30, 6:30. Okay, so we're not under any time. I almost didn't email the game out properly on Sunday because we were watching that George Soros video, and it was like 1 o'clock. The game started at 1:30, and my lock was going at 1:30, but we got it in time. Good game here. Atlanta at the White Sox. We got Grant Holmes for Atlanta, 3.86 against Fetty, 4.38. Atlanta's a 146-9. Both these teams hit. So your first thought is over. Grant Holmes. Wow, Grant Holmes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7-1. The Grant Holmeser. So instead of just looking at the streaks, he's won 5 or 6 in a row. We're gonna look at the whole picture. So he's 7-1. And we'll go from there. So let's look at his last 5, Grant Holmes. 4 innings, 2 runs, 6 innings, shutout, 5 innings, 2 runs, 4 innings, 3 runs, and 6 innings, 2 runs. He had one bad outing where he gave up 6 runs to Colorado, and they still won 8-6. But his last 5, 2-0-2, 3-2. Doesn't give up a lot. Goes usually about 80. He's in the 80s. I don't see a 90. The first game was 99, but since then it's been in the 80s. So he wins a lot. Atlanta against Fetty for the White Sox. And Fetty, last 5 innings, 2 runs, 3 innings, 4 runs, 3 innings, 8 runs. Jesus Christ, 4 innings, 2 runs. And then he goes a 5-inning shutout against Minnesota. You're just trying to, like, this guy seems to be a starter. Goes 5 innings a lot. Has pitched 100. Yeah, he's a starter, Fetty. 4.94 last year at Atlanta. He had an 8 ERA. And he shared at Milwaukee 3.38. 24-25 was on the Cardinals. 5.22, 3.72. So this guy's basically a pig. And Holmes for Atlanta. Let me just peek at Holmes again. He wins a lot. 2.3202. So he keeps you down pretty good. The White Sox can hit. Atlanta will hit Fetty. I'm just debating about, do I take Atlanta or do I take the over? And Mongo don't know. I'm going to take again, these are very hard games today. I haven't gotten to our free pick yet. Texas at Kansas City. Texas is minus 118, 9 total with Evaldi against Kolick. Evaldi with the 4.14. I think he's getting better. He was terrible. But let's see his last 5. Yeah, he gave up 4 runs and 6 runs early. In his last 5, last 6. Let's go. He went 7 innings shutout, 8 innings 1 run, 7 innings shutout, 7 innings 3, 7 innings 5, 6 innings 4. So he had a stretch of 3 where he didn't give up anything, and now he's got a stretch of 3. It's 3.54. And Kolak for Kansas City. Is George Brett still playing? We got 6. He's pitched in 6 games, starting May 5th. Wow, he pitched 9 innings. He had a 9-inning shutout. Oh my God. Kolag. So we'll go through all his 6 innings, 3 runs, 4 innings, 5 runs, then a 6 innings shutout, a 9-inning shutout, a 5-inning he gives up 6, 7. So which guy is this? The shutout guy? Who did he shut out? He shut out 9-inning shutout against Seattle and against St. Louis. Gives up 6 runs to Texas. And then Cincinnati gives up 2 runs. So what do you do with this guy? Is he going to give you the shutout or 2? This is the problem with minor league baseball. They're very inconsistent. Total of 9. Kansas City, do they hit that much? I got to pass. Chicago at Colorado. Jesus. The Cubbies are 147, 12.5. We don't have to worry about wind in Colorado. Colin Ray against Sugano. They're both with 4 ERAs, but you're dealing with the 12.5. Colin Ray, 2 runs, 5 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs, 2 runs, 2 runs. He had a 6-run outing, but since then he's had a 5 and a 4 outing, so he gives up some runs. Sugano, one of Mr. Fuji's students from Japan. They throw salt in the batter's eyes. That's how they get their outs. Last 5 games gives up 5 runs, 2-2, 3-2. Pretty good his last games. Let's look at Colorado. What does he do? At home, he beats Arizona 4-2. Lost to the JETS's 4-2. Beat San Diego 8-3, and the Dodgers he lost 7-1. It's funny is at Cincinnati they won 13-2, and at California they 8-2. Otherwise, his games are pretty low scoring, but they're not at Colorado. But he hasn't really had a terrible, big around 12.5. Ray, are the Cubs hitting? Colorado again. This should be an over, but it's 12.5. We're having a tough time, but I don't want to give losers out, so I'm not going to say. Houston against California. Houston minus 128.5. We got Tang for Houston, 4 ERA against Urena, a 2.81 for California. Let's see what we do here. Tang from Taiwan, so he's got Bobby the Brain Heenan as his manager. You got to be Japan to have Mr. Fuji. Let's see. Last 5. This guy, okay. 3 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings shutout, 6 innings shutout, 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings, 5 runs. And he goes 90 pitches. Pitt beat him 5-1. Milwaukee was 5-4, and then he shuts out the Cubs 3-0, Texas 4-1, and then loses 5-0 to Cincinnati. Oh my God. Urena for California from the Dominican Republic. Who's the manager for that? I don't know. I got to think. Jimmy, the Mouth of the South. Jimmy Hart will be the manager for the Latin American guys. This guy is good. 1 run, 2 runs, 0, 1, and then 3 against Colorado. So this guy does not give up a lot of runs. He lost to Tampa 8-5, giving up 1 run in 6 innings. Jesus. Good bullpen. So he plays, he doesn't give up a lot. Houston doesn't hit a lot. Let's look at Tang one more time. Tang is up. 3 runs in 3 innings. God, he 63 pitches in 3 innings. Then it was 2 shutouts and then 3 and 5. Still not finding that real big game. Here we go. Cincinnati. They're 119 favorites, 7.5 to San Diego. We got Burns, who's their ace, 206. He's good against Giolotto with a 506. What is Cincinnati doing? Oh, this guy's from Italy. Connor Burns from Italy. I don't know who the wrestling manager is in Italy. This guy won 4 in a row and then lost. What the fuck? He's got nothing there. Well, he's got a 205 ERA and 12, but I don't have his game logs are blank. He's probably related to like the Godfather. He's from Italy. Giolotto for San Diego. 6'6". He's a tall one. Pitched in 4 games. 5 innings, 3 runs, 5 innings shutout, 2 innings, 4. So this guy's a pig. 4.86 ERA. Last year on Boston had a 3.41, which is good in Boston. 23, 704, 689. Yeah, this guy's not very good. All right, so we got. I'm still not finding that big game, that free one. Frisco might be Milwaukee because they keep winning for us. Ooh, they got Gin. Okay. Washington and the Niners. We got the Niners minus 105, 8.5. It's going to be Montana against Alvarez or against Theismann. Now Washington, Alvarez, 2.25 ERA. Andrew Alvarez from California. He's pitched in 6 games. He won his first 4, lost his last 2. Is he a reliever? No, he pitched 1 inning. Must have got hurt. He pitched 18 pitches. 82 pitches his last game. So his 5 games, 4 innings shutout, 3 innings, 2 doesn't mean anything. His last 2 games are 3 innings, 3 runs, 4 innings, 1 run. Is this guy a starter? Yeah, he's not really a starter. He's kind of a bullpen guy. Although he normally is a starter. So they're moving him to the bullpen. He had a 2.65 ERA in 2014. Oh, then he played 2017 for the Phillies and got hurt and didn't play until 2025. We had a 2.31 ERA and a 3.54. So this guy's a mystery. He's the Riddler. Going against Hauser from Total Recall. He'll be back in 2 weeks. Let's see. This guy goes 4 or 5 innings. Last 5, 2 runs, 1 run, 3 runs, 4 runs, 3 runs. So he gives up runs. Hauser. Alvarez you can't take. He's a reliever kind of. He's a starter that's only going a couple innings. Niners 105, 8.5. Washington's flying to the West Coast. I don't know what to do with this one either. Does Washington hit to the net? I mean, occasionally they hit. I don't know. Milwaukee and Oakland. Oakland's a 109 favorite over our Milwaukee team. Total of 13. Are you kidding me? Gasser, 4.85 for Milwaukee against Jin Rummy for Oakland, the guy who almost had the no-hitter into the 9th inning. Gasser has only pitched in 3 games. He lost all 3. 3 runs, 4 runs, and 1 run to the 49ers on the 3rd. In 3 years of Milwaukee, he started 5 games, 2.57, 2 games, 3.18, and 26. He's got a 4.73. So this guy, I don't know. And let's look at Oakland with Jin. Now, Milwaukee can hit. They got 7 hitters, and so does Oakland. I can see why the total is so high. But Jin Rummy here, yeah, he had one bad outing of 5 runs. Since then, it's been 1, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1. He does not give up a lot of runs. These are 6 innings, 88 pitches to the Cubbies. They lost 7-6 to the Yankees. They won 6-4, 2-0 to San Diego, 2-1 to California, 12-1. They beat the Phillies. The game he let up 5 runs. They lost to Cleveland 8-5. So this is a very good pitcher. Goes usually 6 innings, 8 innings, and then it becomes how good's their bullpen. But how do you bet under? Milwaukee they played a 17-16 or 15-14 game yesterday, and that was with their ace. So we believe Oakland will score a lot, although their bullpen, we don't know where that is, especially after yesterday. They must have went through their whole bullpen. So Jin will have to go like 7 innings tonight. Gasser, we don't know enough about. I can't go. It's hard to go under in this game because they're like both over. It's like the Lions playing Buffalo. I mean, they're both over teams. You cannot go under in this game. You can go under. Now, Jin is a good pitcher. Gasser, 4.85. Oakland minus 109, 13. I see Oakland being favored. Jin does not give up a lot of runs. But the problem is when you get to the bullpen. The problem is that 7th, 8th, 9th inning, when all of a sudden it's a 2-1 game, turns into an 8-7 game, like it did last night. I mean, there's no way Oakland should have lost. They're up 4 runs in the 7th inning on our Milwaukee team, which was our lock. And somehow we not only tie the game, but we win the game. Just amazing. But I can't go over with Jin. It's hard to go under with this Milwaukee lineup and the Oakland lineup at Softball City here. So I just got to watch. I think Oakland will hit this Gasser guy because they hit the Harrison guy yesterday with the 2 ERA, and they put up 6 or 7 runs on him. Yeah, I can see it being an over except for Jin, so it doesn't fit. So I got to give you a free pick. And we are going to make it. All right, let's go with the free pick. The Yankees under 8.5. Garrett Cole against Sassani, who's been pitching much better. 2-unit play. I don't have a 3-unit play. I have 2 games that I circled and didn't bet. Detroit and Philadelphia under. I like them, but I didn't play them. I ended up playing 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games. No 3-unit play. It's just the way the day is. I wanna bake in my 4-1 plus 9-unit day yesterday. So exciting. All right. Yeah, Yankees, Garrett Cole. Okay, I can go under there. Pitt and the Dodgers, I don't know which Scanes is going to show up. This would be the lock. Normally Scanes against a guy with the 5'11" and lower. But the way Scanes has been going and the way they've been, he's got to pitch 105 pitches. And he can't go more than 5 innings. But I will bet you that Scanes goes 7 innings and shutout ball. I don't know what happens in the 8th and 9th, but I think Scanes pitches a shutout today. Doesn't mean they'll shut him out. He'll shut him out for the 7 innings. He's had a few bad outings, and pitchers like this who have a few bad outings come back and shut you out. Just when you think they're not good, Well, they are good, especially against the Dodgers. Now, Mr. Shotani here, you see how Shotani plays tonight. All right. Well, yeah, it's a night game. If Shotani hits him for 3 home runs, I will say, yeah, he's up there. But I bet he gets 2 strikeouts. All you got to do to Shotani is pitch him high. He's got a golf swing, right? So it's like hitting the ball off the tee. But just put the ball up around his chest. The guy can't hit. So I don't know, but I'm not a Shotani fan. I'm more of a Jim the Anvil Neidhart, Bret Hart, Ric Flair. Those are Macho Man. Those are my guys. Good game, Boston, Tampa. I didn't play that. But I might play it now. I think the line moved. I think this was 6, is now 7.5. Good team. The White Sox they hit a lot. So I'm going to concentrate on trying to figure out the teams as far as their offense. In football, we do it, and we do it very easily. We've got the stats. We just bring in the data. Football is once a week, which is it's so much easier because I can study and analyze the game. This is daily. Scanes, Mahomes very rarely throws 3 interceptions in a game, right? So okay, Mahomes, boom, Josh Allen, boom, and Montana and Marino. You knew what you were getting, and you can't figure out Scanes having 2 bad outings or 3 bad outings in a row. That just blow you. Wait a minute, he's the best pitcher. What is he doing? Fortunately, the Milwaukee pitcher, Mizorowski, we're fine. He keeps shutting everybody out. So that's a good thing. So that's what you're trying to do. You see the low ERA. Oh, it should be a low-scoring game. I'm going to bet him. And then he gives up. Look at that game yesterday with Milwaukee. We take Milwaukee, but because the pitcher's got a 2 ERA and it's a 15-14 game. I mean, that's where it really gets. That's where it's every day. And this game was at Oakland, and so you gotta be careful with it. Anyway, like today, the Cubs are at Colorado, and it's 12.5. The Cubs aren't hitting. Colorado, they're not playing high-scoring games, but you got 2 bad pitchers going. Anyway. Yeah, I do believe they changed that. Boston was a 6.5, it's now 7.5. All right, so that's baseball. You got the Yankees under 8.5. Bet it with Connie's husband. He's a bookie with the Yankees. I'm talking your Godfather. And that's it. So NBA tomorrow, I think we'll take San Antonio. God knows what Winnebago's thinking, and the coach still needs to be fired. They shouldn't be down 2-0 if Winnebago knows what he's fucking doing. They do seem to battle back when they're down. Against Oklahoma, they were down. They should have won game 3 and they lost it, and then they win game 4. So it's really when their backs are really against the wall, San Antonio seems to win. So they don't want to go down 3-1. So I think they'll win tomorrow. But very lightly. We can't trust Winnebago too much. And that's baseball. So do we have any football news? Let's take a quick look at my Google. The Newsies. Josh Allen tops list of NFL's list of most player merchandise sold. Who gives a fuck? Browns all-pro lineman announces retirement from NFL. If I was anybody on the Browns, I'd be retiring. Rams offensive tackle reportedly arrested for felony domestic battery. Not a problem. He'll be there for the first game. What is wrong with these guys? Chiefs reportedly reunited with cornerback L'Jarius Sneed. They need him after letting McDuffie go. But that's what Kansas City does. They don't sign their corners for $30 million. These other teams do, and that's why KC normally wins. The only player they pay a lot is Mahomes, and that's the one guy you should be paying. Yeah, that's it. AJ Brown to pay. Okay, we got that. Let's check our gold. Are we at least coming back? Jeez, it's down to 42.55. I mean, look at this mess in gold. Just it's up. It's up until about 10 o'clock, and then from 10 to 1, it just is a mess. Just keeps going down. Now it's starting to come back up. I might just take the 4,300 and off I go because I need the money. Unbelievable. All right. So there's a poker hand I want you to see. How badly they played it.
TV time, or you really just for TV time. You got that tough hand. I was confused. I have a very good hand. Yeah, bet you do. Darrell's not getting the right odds, but he is in position. And calls. I think by not raising, Daniel was hoping to not chase everyone out, but now he's got to play kings against two opponents. The flop, queen deuce tray, top pair for Barry. This is exactly the kind of flop Daniel wanted. Greenstein fires 10 grand. Barry and Doyle both have a piece, and Barry's piece is big enough to lose him a lot of money. Daniel just calls. And Doyle calls with middle pair. Even with a piece of this flop, that's a pretty loose call from Doyle. Unless you get trips on the turn. Barry checks. Barry's now got the nut flush draw. Daniel will have no idea someone hit this 3. This is fun. Right off the bat, I have no idea what to do. He knows with this many players along for the ride, his kings are very susceptible. I check.
Daniel checks.
I don't know if Doyle used instinct, intuition, or got incredibly lucky, but he has both of these guys in bad shape. If Barry and Daniel were checking to trap, they are in trouble.
Doyle bets 21,000.
Something tells me Barry doesn't like this bet, but in this spot, he's going to have the best hand a fair percentage of the time, and with the nut flush draw, he's even less likely to be drawing dead.
Very little hesitation move, but he calls.
Daniel can't really like that bet either, or the call from Barry. He's right to think about this hand, but I don't see how he could get away from it, even if his spidey sense is going off. Like Barry, he's just not going to be beat very often in this spot. Having to make this decision is one of the pitfalls of slow playing big pairs pre-flop.
Daniel calls. The river. 4 of diamonds giving Barry a flush.
Barry calls the turn, hoping to hit a diamond. Let's see if he still likes it.
Oh, he does. Barry's all in.
Those are pretty much the kings of comedy at this point.
Daniel folds.
That's a card I didn't stay.
I don't really see Barry making this play without a flush or a full house.
I call it.
Doyle calls and sees the bad news.
All right, so let's analyze that hand. How many mistakes did we see? Daniel with kings doesn't bet. He likes slow playing. Daniel, he's easy to read. If he makes that bet pre-flop, he's got nothing. When he checks pre-flop, he's got a hand. As I told you about the Russian girl who bluffs, when she bets, she bluffs. She'll make a bet. When she checks, she's got a hand. And that's kind of what Daniel does. When he checks pre-flop, he's got a hand. Now he goes up against 2 guys. Barry hits the queen, but he's also got, well, he didn't have the diamonds still, came diamond. So if Daniel makes the bet on the flop, which he didn't make with the kings, I think Barry made the bet like 10 grand. Daniel calls instead of re-raising. And then Doyle has no business in the hand with the pair of threes, gets extremely lucky getting the third 3, but he doesn't make the proper bet. So he gets lucky to hit the third 3. There's a flush draw on the board. And Daniel, God knows what he's doing in the hand. He's retarded. So Daniel, who should have bet pre-flop and win a small hand, doesn't bet and loses a big hand. Barry with the top pair, top kicker, ace queen. Daniel doesn't bet him off his hand either, lets him stay around the flush. And Doyle, who has no business in the hand, I guess he had pot odds at 6-3, hits his 3 and then hits another 3, and he doesn't make the proper bet. He should have bet big to get the flush draw to think about it. But I don't know if he would have gotten Barry off the hand because he had queens, although there was a pair of 3s on board. The queens, would they, if Doyle makes it 100 grand, is Barry going to call with queens and a flush draw on the, after the turn? There's one card out there. He's got terrible odds to make it. So we'll see. Daniel's lost. Daniel, this is the problem when you slow play big hand. Your kings are only good pre-flop. Once the flop comes out and then the turn comes out and now there's a pair of 3s out there, you went from a good hand to a nothing hand. The king's worthless. Unless he got lucky to hit the king on the river, giving him a full house. He's got nothing. His kings are not good. There's already a set of 3s, and then here comes the river, and Barry gets the flush. Doyle's got to see, even though he figures he lost, and Daniel, God knows what he's doing in the hand. So the moral of the story is when you got a big pair, it's only good pre-flop. Once the flop hits, your big pair is worthless. You might think it's, oh, I got kings. Yeah. And how did that end up for him? So the more cards you show, because it's community cards, it's a problem with Hold'em. It's a lot luck. Daniel should have won the hand with kings, and Doyle hits a set, and Barry gets a flush. That's the problem with the community cards. So how to play the kings, you should bet a lot. You should bet a decent thing. You would have got Doyle out, and then Barry with ace queen probably calls, hits the queen, Daniel hits, and then he just gets unlucky with the flush on the river. But he could have possibly bet him out on the, he could have got him out on the flop, and he could have got him out on the turn with big bets. Barry's going to call all this, and he's, hoping for a flush, but he doesn't know Daniel's got a king. So Daniel did not represent the king very well. So did Daniel get unlucky? Maybe. I don't know, because Doyle shouldn't have been in there, but Barry would have been in with ace queen, and then he hits the queen. So I don't know that you're getting Barry out with the queen. In other words, he's got queens, and Daniel's hands, you don't know he's got kings. There's no king on the board to scare him. You might not have gotten Barry out, but Doyle you would have got out. So you let Doyle play and beat you. For why? What are you slow playing? It's not a big enough hand. Aces and kings are only big pre-flop. You've got to understand that. So this is the problem that these people have. And then he's got kings, and then the betting goes, and he doesn't know where he's at. Since he never bet, and there's a pair of threes on board, what are you doing? You don't know where you're at. It's hard when you've got aces and kings and you slow play them, because then somebody makes a big bet at you and you have no idea. If you're the one betting, if they're just calling you, you have an idea where you're at. But if you're just checking and somebody makes, my game, somebody makes $100 bet, I don't know where I stand. But if I make the bet, if I bet 50 on my aces or kings, then it becomes, do they call me or do they raise me? If they raise me, I know where I'm at. If they call me, then I feel pretty good about the hand. But it's hard to call these hands sometimes. So that's kind of where you're at in poker. The slow play doesn't work. You can't slow play that. You don't know enough about that. Now here's one on economics. He's talking classical economics. Well, we'll play a little of it. It's a half hour. I'm not going to play a half hour.
So a will is your wishing. We are here to help. We are here to help create the jobs and future you deserve.
Politicians always claim they're going to improve our economy.
We will transform our economy.
But again and again, government makes things worse. President Reagan was right to say the 9 most terrifying words in the English language are, I'm from the government and I'm here to help. That's because an economy runs best when the government gets out of the way and lets free market competition work.
Laissez-faire.
The more we abandon free markets, the more we move away from free markets, the worse things become. Economist Don Boudreau's new book explains the benefits of economic freedom. The subtitle, Debunking the 7 Great Myths of American Capitalists. Good subtitle. But the title, The Triumph of Economic Freedom. Economic freedom is losing. Republicans and Democrats are voting against it.
Right, but when you look at history, you see that when economic freedom is allowed to flourish, it does triumph. And part of the reason we wrote this book is to correct some fallacies that people have about our economic past in order that they'll support better policies moving forward.
The coronavirus presents a public health emergency in the United States.
This decade, the 2020s, has been pretty bad. It begins with COVID. We get the terrible Biden administration.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was in the foothills of the Himalayas with Xi Jinping.
Biden's policies increased inflation. He canceled needed pipelines. He gave billions to politically connected companies. Now it's President Trump who's interfering.
The second Trump administration is doing a lot of damaging things like taking golden shares in American corporations.
We did keep a golden share.
And his tariffs restrict trade.
Free markets are on the ropes now. And it's really important that people step back, look at economic history, the history of our country. And if they do that, they'll see that we prosper more the more economically free we are.
Countries benefit when politicians do less. Google, Facebook, OpenAI, NVIDIA, Tesla, all began in the United States because compared to Europe, our government mostly lets the free market work. Yet, today, young people blame free markets for every problem.
Yeah, and because they don't know what they're talking about, these young people. They should read Maya and Phil Graham's book because we explain that free markets in the past have worked pretty well and that the government solutions to whatever problems existed actually made things worse.
We can't buy a home. You want to be able to work, provide for your family, but you can't afford to work either because you can't afford daycare.
People say they can't afford homes. They can't afford daycare.
It's true that housing and daycare are rising in prices. Well, housing is rising in prices chiefly because of government. Land use restrictions reduce the supply of housing. It restricts building. Rent control reduces the supply of rental housing. And that especially hurts young people because they are the ones who are going to be more likely to rent. Daycare is riddled with government regulations on who can supply it and how they can supply it, all of which raises the cost of those things. And then on top of all this, we have inflation. Inflation is caused by too much money chasing too few goods. That's a government-caused problem. The money supply is under the control of the government, not under the control of businesses.
The growing gap between rich and poor Americans is one of the biggest challenges facing the country.
Yeah, but if you...
Okay, so let's break this down. So really, you always want competition, as we talk about, substitution of goods. And when the government gets involved, they try to plan the prices instead of letting the market go. So we want free market where if we don't want to buy a 2-liter Coke for $3, they put it on, the market puts it on sale 2 for $5 because they can't sell it at $3. We don't want the government coming in saying, well, let's make it $2. No, Myers, you got to sell it at $2. We don't want that. That's bullshit. That's the government has no idea what they're doing. The government does not create jobs, only government jobs, which are bullshit because how do they pay for it? They just print money. I don't know. I don't like this when he defines inflation as too much money chasing too few goods. That's not inflation. Inflation is money printing, making the value of the dollar worthless. That's what inflation is. Chasing too few goods makes no sense. I don't even understand that. Too much money chasing too few goods. What does that mean? He also talks about people think that the dollars that there's only so many dollars out there. So if the rich guy makes, you got Bill Gates making $1 billion, that there's just a controlled amount of money, and therefore the other guys lose money because he's making more money, and that's not really true. The pie grows, right? So the more you come up with TVs, you come up with cell phones, you come up with laptops, that grows the economy. So there's more money involved in it, which is fine. But the problem with people thinking that, somebody makes a lot, so somebody loses is just ridiculous. It's all about coming out. Like he does something on whatchamacallit. You only become rich if you produce a product people want. It's as simple as that. Do you want the product? And if you do, that's what you get. If you don't, then you're not a billionaire. So like Tesla, if nobody wants the electric car, he doesn't make any money. So you got like Amazon, where he's put the product out there. If we want the product, he makes $1 billion. If we don't want the product, he doesn't make anything. It's up to the marketplace if he makes or doesn't make, and that's the key to free markets is competition. I don't have to buy. I want to buy a blue shirt. I can buy it here or there, or Brooks Brothers makes it. Tommy Hilfiger makes it. Nautica makes it. So I have my choice of buying one at a better price or a cheaper price or more expensive price, and the color I want and everything else. So that's really the key to it, is the choice, and we make the choice. We're the market. That's what free market is. And in these socialist, communist countries, or like Hitler, you didn't have a choice. This is what we're going to sell it for. Take it or leave it. And normally it hurts the producer because he can't make money. The market determines what his costs are and what he can sell it for. And you need the market to tell you that. You need the prices to tell you that. But if you restrict it and say you're gonna, like as he was talking about, like housing rent, you can only charge $1,000 for rent. Well, then no, they don't make it, and so they really limit the supply of houses. Because why would anybody make a house if they have to sell it for $1,000? It costs them $1,100. They'll never make the house, so they'll never. So you're really cutting the supply down, which then makes the rent even higher. But it's rent control, so you end up with less houses or apartments because nobody wants to build them. That's why you got to let the market run. That's why capitalism works. If there's something you can make money on, you make it, and competition comes in, and then you make it better and cheaper, and the benefit is us. See, capitalism, we get benefited. In socialism and communism, the producer gets benefited because he's allowed to sell it. There's no competition. Hitler, how much competition was there for that, right? There's no competition. Russia, very little competition. So the state runs the banks, or they run the oil, or they run the gold. And it makes it where there's no competition. So there's less jobs. There's one guy doing it. He pays whatever salary wise. And, you're going to pay $5,000 for this or that, or $500 for this or that. And there's no competition. You can't buy it somewhere else. That's why capitalism works. It's the competition, and the market sets the prices is why it works. Let's listen a little bit more.
Look at the data. That growing gap isn't growing. That gap is due to a statistical illusion. What's the illusion? First of all, the Census Bureau, which is where those numbers come from, they don't count the handouts given to low-income households, which are large.
Are you aware that your agency doesn't count non-cash payments from the federal government, or food stamps, or housing subsidies, or utility bill subsidies, or Medicaid, or free school meals? They don't count that.
I did not know that, and it sounds like something that we should add.
They don't count the taxes paid by high-income households, which are also large. Once you take just those two things into account, the measured level of income differences between high-income Americans and low-income Americans shrinks dramatically.
And they just don't count it?
They just don't count it.
Why?
The Census Bureau has been asked this. I've never seen a good answer.
The government says 11% of the population lives in poverty. Shouldn't government do more to help?
That's false. The official measure is 11%. But if you take account of the transfers that are paid to lower income households, that figure falls to 2.5%. We have basically conquered poverty in America. It's astonishing that we've done it. The typical household in the lowest fifth has about the same amenities in their household as ordinary middle-class Americans had 50 years ago in their households. All of us are getting richer. It's true, some are richer than others, but that will always be the case. But the absolute level of poverty in America is down to virtually nothing.
All right, but you've still got billionaires who have so much more money than other people. It just is wrong.
Most billionaires in America are rich because they've made us rich. Jeff Bezos is very rich. It's true, much richer than you or me, but he's rich because he revolutionized retailing. He's made us rich. No one was compelled to use Amazon.com. We did it voluntarily. We still do it. Every cent of his wealth is well earned. Bill Gates, by revolutionizing home computing, he made our lives dramatically better. He got himself very rich in the process, but he didn't steal that from anyone.
Yes, he did.
We bought Windows voluntarily. The Google billionaires revolutionized, again, our lives. Who doesn't use Google? It's essential now. We should praise them, not bemoan the fact that they got rich doing it.
People think there's a fixed supply of money, and if those people have billions, other people must have less.
That is what people think. Zero-sum thinking is very common. It's very dangerous because it's so wrong. It is true. If there's a fixed pie and you get more, then other people have to have less. But that's not how the market economy works. The pie isn't fixed. People get rich by making the pie bigger, and they take off a slice of that. You know what good research shows? Successful entrepreneurs in the last half of the 20th century, they got really rich. You know how much of their contribution to society they claim for themselves? About 2%. About 98% of the value of what they produced was captured by consumers and workers. They got 2%. So Bill Gates got about 2% of the wealth that he created. The other 98% is shared among the rest of us.
How?
Lower prices, better quality products, higher wages for the workers working in the industries producing those outputs.
And as that better technology gives both consumers and businesses more information, activists find new things to complain about.
You're seeing online retailers that charge first-time parents more for baby products simply because the retailers know that the new parents are likely to pay more.
Another anti-capitalist attack is dynamic pricing. Companies charge some people more than others.
A shady new way to charge you more for something than anyone else is paying.
Politicians promise to fix that.
It's called the One Fair Price Act. It would prevent companies from being able to use customers' personal data to set different prices for each person.
Yes, there is such thing as dynamic pricing. And you know what economics says? That means that higher income people pay higher prices, which allows lower prices to be charged to lower income people.
But they also maybe charge higher prices to dumb people who don't price comparison.
Yeah, but that's not what happens. The evidence is pretty clear that dynamic pricing, when it exists, raises prices for higher income buyers, lowers prices for lower income buyers.
And if they did charge stupid people more, what's wrong with that? It would encourage people to shop around.
It winds up being a tax on stupidity. And if you tax something, you get less of it.
Now politicians say we must act to prevent artificial intelligence from doing bad things. AI is going to take jobs away.
From time immemorial, people have been claiming that some new invention that saves labor is going to destroy jobs. Some jobs are destroyed, other jobs are created. You can't point to a time in history when we have had labor-saving technology and there's been a net reduction in employment. It just doesn't happen. What happens is, again, some jobs are destroyed, other jobs are created. The jobs that are created tend to be better. Our living standards rise as a result of these innovations. There are more.
So that's like the horse and buggy car argument. You had to take care of the horse, and the guy who built the buggies and the buggy whips and all that got replaced. But then the jobs were better. You were making cars. You're working at Ford or GM, and a better standard of living. And then everybody benefited because the car was so much better than the horse and buggy. You didn't have to clean up the shit from the horse. You just had the car, and then gas stations came out of it. So there was a big benefit in raising the level from horse and buggy to a car. Now, I don't see any benefit for the electric car. That doesn't make sense. So it's okay if there's a benefit to move up. And people lost their jobs with the horse and buggies, but they made the jobs. There's a lot more jobs made with cars. And then Firestone and all these tire companies had to make tires for them, and the engine parts and the windows and the lights. So all these came in with because the horse and buggy, you probably didn't drive it at night. Maybe you did. Maybe you needed a lantern or whatever. But so all these other jobs came out of going up to from the horse and buggy to the car. I don't see any advantage to the electric car. You could get the car caught on fire. The batteries are going to drain. You're going to have to constantly charge your batteries. The car itself is the same as far as driving. I can go 50 miles an hour and steer, except for when I lose my electricity, I'm stuck in my car. It doesn't handle heat and cooling well, and finding places to charge them is difficult. So I would not, there's no benefit to that. There is a benefit to car versus horse and buggy. There is benefit to like new TVs versus the old TVs, or to not having a TV. There's benefit with the computers, where now we have our own, everybody has their own laptop. So everybody has a computer, and then you can do this, and you can email, and you can check your gold. And so there's a lot of things, and then websites come in, and everything then gets with the computer. So that's a benefit. The cell phone, now I have my cell phone, which means everybody has a phone. Instead of a landline, you can take the phone with you. A lot of times it's not that good because people are driving and they're texting and everything. So there are some bad with the good, but I can talk to Daria in Russia with an app on the phone. So that's a big benefit, where before you could never talk to anybody in Europe, or you'd have to call them, which would cost you $100 to call. But I can text her, and, so we can communicate, which is a huge benefit. So, people are scared of change. Now, this AI thing I don't like, because what you're doing is you're firing, like the Pepsi guy, you're firing the driver. And I still don't understand the concept of how AI can drive a car, fill it up with the gas, empty the inventory, as I said. I don't see a benefit to AI. I don't see how you can get rid of people for AI. That's just bullshit. That'll never work. I don't see the benefit of that. But when you computer, like robots, let's take robots. So at Ford, you're using robots to weld the pieces of the car together. Okay, so people lost their job who were the workers welding. However, now you need IT people to program the welding, what they're going to weld and how they're going to do it and all that. So you need higher level people who are computer people to do that, versus, if you didn't have computer people, you'd have people welding manually instead of automating with robots. So again, the people lose their jobs welding, but gain the jobs, maintaining the robots. So you get better jobs from it. So the guy cleaning up the horse shit from the horse and buggy now is, maybe working at the car company, like I said, making sure the car is built right. Or I worked in finance at the car companies, or IT, or attorneys. So there's a lot of jobs that come from the car company that the horse and buggy aren't going to come from it. So that's a big factor of moving up. But see, it's okay if it benefits. I don't see the benefit of AI. I don't see getting rid of me in finance really benefits AI with that. So I think that's the key to it. There's no real benefit of that. It's not really there. Explain the benefit of electric car. I don't know. Explain of AI. The work still needs to be done. So somebody then has to maintain the AI, but can AI think? And I don't think it's better. I see what they're trying to do is get rid of people, and I don't have to pay AI. You're still going to pay AI. You're paying somebody to maintain and program the AI. And then when the AI fucks up, you're going to have to call in somebody. You're going to have to check AI's work. is our budget 100 million or really 20 million? You know, what did AI or actual versus budget? You know, I'm pulling the ledger and here it is, and you can talk to me. You can't really talk to AI, as we've discovered. If I go to the lake and I want to know if the pool's up and I call AI, I can't get an answer. So that there's certain things you just can't replace. People are used to talking to people. People hate AI on YouTube. If I'm watching an AI thing, I turn it off and give it a negative. Like, no, I want to talk to a person, because AI is not real and it can be manipulated any way they want it to be. So that's like free market is good, because then competition comes in, which lowers the price and improves the quality. So we benefit. That's why we like capitalism. And people get all off, well, they're charging more because they know, well, you don't have to buy it. They're not all going to be that expensive. And if they are, I mean, there's plenty of places to shop thanks to the competition. If I need baby formula, I can go buy it at Walmart instead of Kroger's. That's the point of having competition. Anyway, I think that's about it. I don't want to get into the whole thing, but it's mostly what we talk about here. We buy gold because they print the money to death. That's the other thing we need. Now we see gold, we see the paper gold price going down. Just relax. You know, the physical gold's worth a lot more. There's two golds, paper and physical, and nobody's fucking with the physical gold. It's just this paper gold. And I assume it's out and COMEX is done and they're just hitting the price, and everybody's ignoring COMEX because it's not real. And they keep fucking with the price. So I wouldn't worry about it. Again, I wanted to sell 1 ounce. So I'm not really, I'd like to get 4,600, even though I really should be looking at 7,000 at this point. And again, I don't, it's the high oil prices. So we keep seeing it, but nobody's selling their physical gold, because if they do, it's just bought by somebody else. It's a wash. As I explained yesterday, if I have my Montana rookie card and I sell it, it's worth $100,000, and I sell it, the guy paid $100,000 for it. The price doesn't go down just because I sold it. So to say that the price of gold went down because somebody sold some gold doesn't make any sense, because somebody bought the gold at 5,000 an ounce or whatever, they bought it at. So that's not knocking the price down. What's knocking it is just these options, probably margin calls, things like that. And I think we're going to see a big skyrocket soon, because this has been hit and hit and hit. And I would imagine China's sitting there just laughing their ass off. I mean, people who want to buy are getting the deal of the century in gold and silver. I mean, I'm ready to run out and buy more silver at 65. So let's take one more look at our gold price. So anyway, that's Stossel. We like Stossel because he's okay. So 42.63. But look at how it's dropped. It looked like at 42.80, it got back to 4,300. Then it fell and came up, and then fell. And then it fell again at 1 o'clock, and now it's starting to come back. This is a very cheap price. This is a joke. So, I mean, I would run and I might get 5 more ounces for $300 as a steal. But I do need to sell some gold just for cash. I need some of this, because I can't use the gold to pay bills or take a vacation. I can't go up north and give them a 1/4 ounce of gold to pay for the room. Maybe I could, but chances are I'm going to use my credit card, so I need cash for that. So that's where I've got to trade it in. But that's the beauty of gold and silver. An ounce is 4,300, let's say, and it's very liquid. I just go to the store, it gives me 4,300. Where if I got, and this is a problem with like the Montana rookie, I got to find a buyer who's going to give me $100,000 for it. And then I got to take some of the cash out. See, that the more expensive things are, it's harder. There's less buyers. There's less Montana buyers at 100,000. Not that there isn't, but it would take you a long time. We hear, oh, I'll just run to the store, Friday and get my money, and then I'm fine. So I'll just do that, provided this thing doesn't fall too far down. But again, it's paper that we're looking at. This is a paper price, $42.65, not the physical price. We're dealing in physical. So there's two things. The problem is there's no physical price. There isn't any. We don't know what the physical price of gold is. It is not this paper price. And that's what we know. And that's the whole thing. So this is where we're, 5 steps ahead. We know this price is a paper price. The problem is I can't go to a place and say, give me the physical price of this, because it doesn't exist. How there is no physical price blows my mind, and how they're using paper options to come up with a price and say, well, that's the physical price is ridiculous. Again, 4.3 million tons of paper gold to 200,000 tons of physical. It's a totally different price. So most of the paper's gone. So again, it's really, I think what's happening is this is like the end, and okay, we're going to make it cheap and people are buying it, and this will kill COMEX, and that'll be it. Anyway, so John Stossel was pretty interesting. Stossel. He's conservative, as we are. And it doesn't mean it's not good or bad. We're not bad. We don't want people to, starve or that. We just talk in market terms. If you have competition, it's good and the market's there. And that's the whole point of it. All right. I think I will go. I got to send an email and with the picks. Anyway, if you want my picks, $25 for the whole week, 7 days. The difference is football, you're paying, there's one, it's a weekly game, right? The Lions play on Sunday and then they play the following Sunday. There's not this every day. And even if there is like a Thursday game and then the Sunday game, but it's different teams. So the one team is not playing every day, where in baseball, you've got these teams playing every day. Most of the teams. There's a little for travel, but that's it. Anyway, I got to send my email. So have a good day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Capitalism is the way to go because it allows the market. We control the market. There's competition, which is critical to lowering prices and increasing productivity. If you have the government doing it, they don't know what to price it at, and there's no competition. You got to stop it at Joe Stalin's grocery store and pay whatever Joe Stalin determines the price to be instead of the market determining it. So that's really the key to it. So try to understand that. It benefits everybody. The more you go from the horse and buggy to the car, you go from nothing to a computer, you go from a landline to a cell phone. All these things are great, and they increase jobs. So if you lose a job, the only thing is an AI. If you do lose your job, then the only job available is to be maintenance for the AI, but the AI won't work. And that's the problem. They're not asking. It's like football 4th and 2. They don't ask if it works. All these coaches getting fired because they lose when they listen to it. You've got to listen to it. Does it work? And it's the same thing here. AI will not work. Analytics do not work. That's the point. So you've got to understand that. But they just see it and they go, oh, good, look at this analytics. 4th and 1, we'll go for it because it says to. It doesn't work. You got to pin them back at the 5-yard line. Works more than analytics of this 4th and 1 crap. Cost the Lions the Super Bowl, so that's about all I can say. So anyway, have a great day. www.teaserking.com. One word, Teaser King. 42.64 gold, 65.21 silver. Amazing it's this low, but we know the physical market is much, much higher. And your free pick in baseball today is the Yankees under 8.5 with Derek Cole on the mound. And that's about it. So have a wonderful day. Take care. Enjoy. Just try to relax. Gold, you have no problems. Bitcoin, you got a problem. The stock market, you're going to have a problem. The dollar has a problem. The dollar has no value. It's not too much dollars chasing too few goods. It's too much dollars being printed that create this value. Even if you had enough dollars for the goods, the dollar would still be worthless. That's why I argue with that guy, and I argue with Milton Friedman. It's the amount of dollars printed. That's the key to it, not too few dollars or too much dollars chasing too few goods. That's not inflation. It's money being printed and not backed by anything is the inflation. That's why you need the gold standard. So anyway, I will leave you with that. So have a good day. Good luck tonight. Go Yankees under. And I'm so much happier that I went 4-1. Then I thought I was going to go 1-4. I won the Philly game and I go, fuck, I'm losing Houston. I'm losing Cincinnati and I'm losing Milwaukee. I thought, fuck, I'm going to have another one of 5 game. And then boom, that's why they play 9 innings or 10 innings. So going 4-1, big, here we go. So again, I go to the new paper, but I'm not superstitious, but I am. All right. Well, have a good day, everybody. Enjoy. Just relax. Buy your gold and silver. It's what it says. Silver, $65, and we know it's $120 item. We know it's a $500 item. But again, it's manipulated by the bullion banks and the margin calls, and so people, I got to get out of it. Well, wait, you can't go to Bitcoin. That's 59,000. What are you getting into? The stock market? Good luck with that. But that's what they want. They are trying to manipulate you into the stock market so you can pay your taxes, and because they need tax revenue because the U.S. is broke. Don't forget that. They're broke. They can't. Nobody will buy their treasuries, and they can't do anything. So we're fucked. This war, we've lost to Iran. Ukraine's lost to Russia. So we've spent a lot of money for nothing. So just it's the U.S. is broke, and only gold will be the lifeboat. So remember that. All right, www.tcaking.com. Take care, everybody. Thank you.